Hi, but it's Alexandrake, and today we're playing the Letter. Last time we was playing as Rebecca Dell this time, getting more of a personality, more of sort of how she thinks and how she sort of is responding to the fact of Isebellla being hit by that tom, and how she's processing it all. I used to see a bit more of Ashton, and she witnessed a spooky thing in a hospital, which I believe she should have ran away straight away, even though that child may have been innocent, but I still feel it was a demon regardless. Further do's, let's carry on the story and see where this takes us. Sounds good? Grand. Also, if you do like this madness, don't forget to subscribe and see whatever watty shenanigans I get up to when I face the supernatural threats. You know, it's a hobby, I guess. Even before I'd never trust my mind, I feel every apprehension over a hospital visit. Does no one at a hospital? I feel like everyone hates hospitals in this game. No one in my family has experienced illness or warranted an overnight vigil. And when a relative did pass away from here some years ago, I'm still too young to omit the details to memory. I recall the tears, but the emotions simply felt too distant to stick. In truth, everything I remembered of hospitals are the bright lights and the cozy private rooms and the doctor's tender smiles.
Until last night.
Now the ice air shone far too brightly intensely against my eyes. The smile from the on-duty nurses found is under every single uncertainty. The room at the end of this ward, ye see, looms forebodingly ahead of me. This being a certain day has thankfully dulled the edge to that. Somewhat. There's still a voice at the back of my mind, whispering and expecting the worst while hoping to all that is good in the world that I won't find an empty bed and an equally draven news upon my return. But I pushed all this down as far as I can the minute I neared her room. It won't do satisfactory to see me this way. It will send me back home for sure. The Yatter won't do either. I'm gonna get him when all the help we can get will only be between the two of us until our aunt arrives. After that tour of Ashton, with the way he sounded, I don't think he plans on showing up here. He probably thinks he'll be more useful out there. I know he's just doing his job, but it almost seems that he's using this as an excuse this way. What exactly is there to avoid here? He's so we're in the face, everything head on. But this? How absurd. Regardless whether the answer to those will have to wait, yawn with many others as I give the door to Isabella's room a mild push.
Hey, scared cat?
Oh. My hand stills. My whole body freezes, stopping me almost a hair breadth before we open the door.
Ash?
A frown soon follows my confusion. Oh. There, shut on the edge of the bed, is the last person I expect to see here. No mere shattens the dough, sitting almost too comfy at that, with a small smile draping his face. As if the ass in our defense hadn't even taken a toll on him. Oh, this is probably why she was mad. But it's obvious. His fatigue is there, in the tired into his voice, the detached in his eyes, and the manner his shoulders drop. He is barely teaming himself together. Just looking at him right now makes me regret everything. He's simply making excuses out of his word. I should have known better. An apology immediately forms in my head, already at the tip of my tongue, but before I can even string two words together, he continues. He's yet to notice my presence, and I've yet to make myself known. But somehow, something in the way he speaks never prevents me from doing so, despite the casual note he takes. Something anyone to me isn't supposed to ever hear from him. Something deeply personal.
Really, how long are you planning to stay like that? You've been criticizing my sleeping habits, yet look what you're doing. I hope you know Zach and Rebecca are already losing sleep over this.
Oh, bless him. Asim paused, honing this moment, the yaw in his words as seep into the air. He means that as a reprimand, or I assume he does. Sounds like one from the way he has phrased it. The tone of his voice betrays that very essence, and not yawn into the silence, he chuckles. Yo, toast to breathless, and if I listen closely, I would say there might have been a hint of your unheld fondness in it.
But this is how you've always been, isn't it? Clumsy. Careless. A scatterbrain and a crybaby. Always getting in trouble. Always getting us in trouble.
He trails off. Another pause. Another held breath. Then he sighs.
Always making me worry.
Aww. And with it, the air inexplicably shifts to something gentler. Warmer. A twice little fiend flew in the room that neither seeks to stifle nor confine. It said it only yinders in silence, bearing simple truths no mere words or grand gestures can express. When he finally chooses to break it, he does so with all the care in the world. Softly in hushed tones, fragile in itself.
But those things...
To something, all it needs is not a thunderous decoration, but a single fleeting setting of small smiles, tender touches, and sincere honesty.
Those things... I love those.
Oh, trap.
And... everything.
Oh dear.
Everything that's... you.
The achievement I got was a heart breaking in two. Well. Oh dear. Here in this room, amidst the faint whir of the machines, the soft moonlight streaming from the windows. In a chill space, those words roar louder than the briefest of the sighs, and that setting forms a memory. One who probably keep even after this moment fades with time. One I'm intruded on, never meant for my eyes to see or my ears to hear. The prayer that comes at the end of it is never for me to behold either.
This place feels a whole lot emptier without you. So please, if you can somehow hear me.
Oh, god damn.
Come back.
Oh, dude. By tamping myself to turn away. Even as silence once then sweeps into the room and only the beeping of machines remains. Even as he himself towers under what everything he says stands for.
This is stupid.
Just as I understand of the most painful clarity, the other truth the scene provides. What tiny demon ashen eye, his darting glances and his tiny smiles from Faye. Little things, little gestures. To others it may seem nothing, but to him it means the whole world, because it's the only way he can say everything without fumbling or using his nerves. Right from the very start, I know. I've always had an inkling. The thought has always been there. Hiding tucked neatly, sealed away at the back of my mind in the same manner he keeps his own secrets close to himself. Which is why there's no jolt in me, no surprise. Just a show, aching, burning realization of a truth yon held. Of feelings never meant to be for me. Oh, yes. Oh damn. Oh damn. And yet in the end, a flash of anger still surges within me. It chances, pierces even my heart torn and numb, drawing every terror and noise from the world around me. The bad in my hand hangs weightlessly in my hand, as the majesty of those words drowsily chose in on me. You didn't want to hear this. You didn't want to see this. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have gone here. Before I could move and force my feet to take the first few steps to save myself, Sattery's voice echoes from the room, deep and still rough with what's apparently sleep. I do cheers of what has transpired only minutes ago. How I wish I could have been oblivious to hit as him right now.
Hey, Ash.
Everything snaps back into place at his sound, and the fail lifts from my mind. All my reasons for being here rushes back to me, yon with it, no, yonder held by that familiar. Bitter, fear and shade consuming my thoughts. But it's still there, cold in a tight knot in my chest, simply waiting for another chance to unhole itself.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
The eyes.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Figures. It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
Funny how he remembers me now. Not a few moments ago, he unknowingly taken that one little thing I hold dear, and allow the burden of his bloody sentiments to crush it. After all these years, I'm the one that becomes the afterthought. Damn. I'm here to play hard game, not the drum, but damn. God. I feel so bad. Should I have changed that? I don't know if I should have changed that. It's a thought. But I take this mention of my name as my cue to compose myself and hide all these somewhere safe, preferably somewhere no one will find. Just how it's always been. Ultimately, isn't what I came here for.
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
At the right rap, I gave the door. Sadly rates off mid-sentence at once. Their eyes are on me when I slide into the room, though their attention doesn't really stay. Seeing the bad I'm carrying catches their eyes, and they're both suiting me brooded yokes. Sadly and he appears about to say something, but can't quite place how he will articulate it. As swiftly as an Aston tells me the same thing, though the question in his eyes becomes of more passive, muted. I raise a hand at them before they can say something about it.
It's not mine.
The light mood changes as I've finished. They know I don't have to spell it out for them. I don't think they want me to when that reality is just a few inches away from us. Either way, the answer doesn't yes. The world isn't done, rendering my heart useless as it turns out. Even Sati, curious as he is, gapes at me with a worried cease on his forehead. He has the right to be. The bitter tone my voice takes once the conversation turns elsewhere surprises me too.
No, I'll take it from here.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
Despite knowing Ashton only means well with his offer, hearing it directly from him, seeing him throw his affections around as if no one knows, it stings. It burns.
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
And Zach has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca.
Oh, Satri's here, just like, come on, guys. Let's ease it down for Isabella's sake. Yeah, when it's all said and done, the only thing I do is beat a hasty retreat while that green-eyed monster rages inside me.
All three of us have things to take care of on our own, but between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good.
This isn't the proper place for it. My words too strange to quiet no amount of anger would let my own fiends across to him. 17 years, and never once did. What more now? Oh, yes.
Do what you want.
It ends with 3 steps and a hasty shoved bad. In all honesty, I'm not entirely sure what I'm expecting will show in Ashton's face. Anger to match mine, confusion maybe, or perhaps regret? Certainly isn't the straight-faced one he has now. However, more than that, beyond the immense mass he wears in the past minute, I got days with him, I see it. And a glimpse of it out of everything tonight is what shatters all that remains of my restraint. I don't wait for him to say anything. Twitty, I tear my eyes away from his and march towards the door, ignoring the worried the answer Satu shoots my way. My heart may be far from fragile, but neither of them needs to see it break. Damn! Oh dear. The door closes with a soft click, but for one moment I remain standing amidst the empty hall. Taking the silence isn't for anything that will dare break it, waiting for that hammer to finally fall, or for the drown to swallow me whole. None of it happens. And after all, so what's happening is perhaps the 100th time in the span of a second I'm yet to recall what I saw in Ashton. It's not hearing the fought for you word and the mission of his own fiends that did it, nor seeing those unguarded yin glances he gave her, but facing the faraway youth in his eyes And what? No? Who? Who has he always seen past me? Past the person who's always stood in front of him? I never had him in the first place.
I love him.
The words itself leave a bitter aftertaste in my mouth, despite wanting them to be heard for so long. Suddenly at the mere utterance, the word goes too still, too bright, too sharp, too cold. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into my heart and settles there, replacing the warmth I no longer remember feeling. Distance, much like the only memories I have of this place. No one else to cling to, I run. Behind me, the door, once it retreats over and Saturday tours after me, totally friendly and utterly unsuspecting. I know all of it. Because even after all this, his isn't the voice I wanted to hear. Oh my God! Oh! My poor wee heart can't handle this. It's supposed to that. Supposed to have a heart attack with the fear, not for the drama. Oh. Damn. I made it out of the hospital in a fury of steps, a mind abuzz with thoughts and emotions in turmoil. Knowing the courteous smiles every staff member shoots my way, or the voices shouting after me, my footfalls hit hard against the pavement, each stride a stark refusal, each distance I put a continual denial. More than once, a passing stranger would give me years. Is it pity? Consternation? Scorn or dismay?
It doesn't matter now, does it?
Why do they have to make me get so sad? Why so sad? I know you're sad. Why you're sad, but why? No, don't be sad. All I hear are the voices inside of my head. Jerking, mocking while the rest of the world blurs around me. Oh, the toasts and the strike. Come on, leave her alone. I'm the one who's always been by his side. I'm the one who knew more about him than anyone. Why didn't it have been me? But the universe doesn't have an answer for that. Neither does anyone. So I run. Until everything fades away from my mind. Until my breathing goes labored. Until my yells butter my feet touching on new stones and the world tilting sideways at the on ass. A yelp comes from my mouth, but the pain I'm expecting, hoping for, doesn't. When awareness returns to me in a rush of sounds and terrors, it isn't his hand that drips my arm, nor the sharp gleam using his eyes that I see. Far a striking contrast. This one's softer, kinder. Though through worry searching Mars's voice, there's nothing in it but general concern. Slattery! My boy! Yes! Any stuff with Slattery, I will gladly enjoy. All in all, I love this man. Hiya, buddy. How you doing? It's always a wonder how they even become friends.
Easy there, ma'am.
He doesn't waste any time, not even to wait for some form of gratitude from me until he pulls me to my feet. How it isn't until he draws a handkerchief from his pocket and gently hands it to me that I glance up at him, searching for an explanation.
For your, face.
He makes a vague gesture around his cheeks, his movement small and a bit awkward, before letting his arms fall and hanging aside, suddenly too afraid to point it out. He does not tread his hand, offering the handkerchief though, me giving me a sheepish shrug and another smile. When I finally lift a hand up my cheek and it comes away wet. Oh. I toss him another yet, wary, unsure. But all he has for me is the same accepting smile. There's a question behind it, but for the moment, he holds off. So another indrawn breath, I take the offered cloth, if only to keep my hands occupied while I put myself together.
Thanks.
No problem. Take your time if you want, and I'll just be here, pretending I didn't see anything, and
Oh, yes, you Slattery. Slattery is pure enough to afford his days. Only when the ass of the tears have been wiped away does he say anything.
You okay? The floor almost had you there.
Yeah, thanks again. Sorry about that.
The words ring hollow to my ears, and I'm not certain if they're meant to be an apology for all his troubles or for showing him this pathetic side of me. Nevertheless, he accepts them.
Nah, it is cool. Surprised me, though. Didn't think you could run that fast. But you don't look really well right now. Something happened?
No, nothing. Nothing important. I was just a little shaken, I think, from all that running. I'll be fine, Zachary.
Well, don't push yourself too hard, alright?
Oh, Slattery.
I'm sure Bella will understand if you ever decide to take a break. Hell, she wouldn't want us fussing over like this.
Oh, yes.
If you aren't feeling up to it, just say so. Let Ashton and I take over now. It ain't a big deal.
Oh, I'm sure Ashton would love that.
Regret falls to certain the heated words in my mouth, and the yiked mood inevitably shatters. As bad my mood might be, Slattery doesn't deserve to receive the brunt of it. No one does. Even Ashton. Yet all I see in my head right now is the image of him sitting inside the room spewing his heart out, and yet he ever did for me. Wherein such sincerity I've never seen in him before. The concerned expression returns to Slattery's face, and with it are hundreds of questions he's been avoiding to ask. Oh, yes. Under his honest scrutiny, I bolt. I get away before he can see past this. I catch a glimpse of an ugly side of me. But considering how well I've handled this so far, I won't be shocked if he already thinks yes of me.
Rebecca, is everything really alright?
Oh, Slattery. I bet he already knows the answer to that. Regardless of the appearance, Saxon be quite as suspected of Ashton. It is part of the reason why they became friends in the first place. Frankly, I don't understand why he's still making an effort to ask. For the sake of being polite. Responding to that will only open a whole different can of worms. He should also know that. What a mess. I didn't mean that. What do you even know? Oh. I don't want to be angry at Slattery. I can't. Just use that smile. Well, when he had a smile. Regardless of his attention, Cyrus and the Sir to be taught in the same kind of tale as a minus right now. Oh, here's a treason. I have to get it to Max. Come on.
I'm sorry, Zachary. I didn't mean that.
Smiled, bottled it up. Hide it from other people, can't judge, even it leaves me one for more expressive outbursts. That doesn't sound like the right option to do. I don't know. I never know what to say. And use this way, there's no guilt apart from the one I have to suffer myself. Oh my god. I can't tell. Did I do it for her? Or was I just peasing Slattery? I just might be peasing Slattery. Because that's all I care about in this day.
I know you don't. You're actually scarier than that when you mean it.
Am I? Really?
Only a bit. A wee bit. Don't take that personally, please. I mean, you're a really nice person, but you also have to deal with Ash and Bella sometimes. That takes a lot of patience, especially Ash. And you're a teacher, so I guess...
Zachary?
Yes, ma'am?
You don't have to say anything to make me feel better about myself. I'm tougher than that.
Oh, well, I was just...
Is he blushing? I can't tell if he's blushing.
Besides, I've already heard most of those from Isebella. I'm used to it. Trust me.
Slattery's eyebrows are drawn together when I glance back at him, his mouth open and closed in a weird attempt to answer my reassurance. This probably isn't where he wants to take his little taught, but the turn it took left him no other choice. Much like how he found himself thrust in this position, Out of all the people, he now has to be the one standing in the middle to fix things, even when no such obligations were being handled to him. But yet, he didn't even need to follow me. But that's just how he is. This is the unintentional mistake on my part too, yes, though I still can't help but feel responsible. The best approach I'm giving right now is the right pat on his arm, a bit half-hearted coming from me, but I do it still. It's not that I have any other things yet I can offer.
Look, Zachary. All of this. It's probably just the stress talking. Don't worry about me.
I don't know. Letter Ep, please do something.
We've all been on the edge since the news broke. I haven't even gotten a decent sleep since it started. And it still doesn't seem like things will be slowing down anytime soon. Maybe it's a good thing Ashton volunteered when he did. At least now we have a few hours to rest, yes? Take your own advice and go get a break yourself, okay?
I throw another smile at him for good measure, but the fault is the set of my eyes meet his. It's like you said then. The one too honest. If I hold it for a moment yonder, I'll probably end up saying things I shouldn't, more than what I'm willing to disclose at the moment. Just despite wanting that these feelings are trust, these are ones I've harboured yonder than any. If Ashton won't hear them, won't have them, then neither has the world any right to do so. I'm more than happy to change to these if I'll keep the mystery at bay. I've already done so before. It won't change a damn thing. So without bothering with a goodbye, I walked away. Oh no. Sad doesn't stop me, doesn't reach out a hand or call my name. This is as far as he'll yell himself the tross. I know, I kind of want them to like grab some toffee or some sort of drink in a cafe, just chill, you know. Oh well. For his concerns between the two of us, he's more familiar with this yarn we keep between us than I am. He won't intrude far from what those boundaries will yell. But when his voice rings out again, above the din of the traffic around us in an attempt to reach me, he does exactly what he's been reluctant to do. Oh.
Hey, Rebecca! About Ashton.
I stop and turn the ear to him, therefore yes. Even with half a mind to bolt, talk between that small urge to hide to just simply pierce over and my own curiosity.
Frankly, I don't really understand what happened back there. I ain't gonna pretend I get the gist of it. I ain't sure if this'll help either, but look. He might be the smartest guy I know, but there are times when things go straight over his head. Way over his head.
No malice, no ill will in it. They're the words not meant to hurt, just another truth, but just apparently we've got heaps of those to throw around today.
So, I think you should talk to him, at least.
Oh.
You don't have to do it, of course. That's just my 2 cents. Ashton can be a bit dense. Sometimes things really work better if you just say it to him.
Sally ends with a shrug and Taz with on Sion as he to manage. Nervous giants with his shoulders tell a different story, however. He wants to say more, but this is all what those metaphorical boundaries will keep will yell. What I will yell for now. In the end, he simply settles with a smile of his own, reluctant, unwilling to leave things here, but with no expectations of it being returned. He's the one who departs first, seconds later. Even the dose while he stood hanging over me. And perhaps it's likely the fear of being left with these thoughts that leads me to the cafe instead. Oh, I was sort of right. He has time to think about these as young as I'm moving and in the company of other people. At this hour, the cafe is usually filled to the brim with people. That's the reason Isabel and I rarely ever go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare food ourselves in the comfort of our homes, and there really isn't much to eat out yet. Well, with life going on a busy street. No time for yon yarns, better spend that doing something productive, yes?
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only a few people are already around the counter. Ford, I found a woman in her 60s and a teenager busy with her phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. Other two, a posh and a man and a child who immediately recognizes Tayi, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. I see. Vampire boy and demon doe hanging out for drinks. I should have known. I should have known there was on the islands over hot beverages. I should have known. For some reason, my staring is at the die. Though stress relatively well and yet harmless, I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps. Even so, there's something familiar in him. It feels like I've seen him somewhere before. There's also begs the question, why is Tayi with him? Oh yeah, why is Tayi with him? What? But also Del easily takes the yang to anyone who buys a sweet, so it's both a bit worrisome and unsurprising. Beyond Broke doesn't yet particularly thrilled with the company though. I turn my eyes away from them soon enough once the guy at the town appears ready to take my order. That, and I also hate to be accused of ordering strangers.
Irish stew. Just for one person.
He quickly raises an eyebrow at that, while I swiftly avert my eyes down to my hands, though I don't miss the tonsorian yurt he gives me. I rarely visit here alone if I can help it. Often it's always with Isebella. She can be a bad influence sometimes. But that's precisely why this guy has known us young enough that if I ever drop here but alone, he already has a number of ideas why. Oh, interesting. Doubtless he's already heard of what happened in the news and need to bring it up in something as casual as ordering food. I still think that little Yolo's in a thorn in his head. There's a proper time and place for the grief and empty sympathies. He gives me a small smile before even to prepare my order, while I fish for my wallet when...
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
What is going on here?
That parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle. Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh, what I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My old tendency snaps back to them in that conversation. Jumping to conclusions isn't something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are basis assumptions, but you can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the tavern seems to have noticed his words either, very suspicious words. Still, I don't move. Yet, but my hand has already shifted from my work to the book I'm carrying. A hard-bound textbook, yet it's harmless, but if that's been taught for, it might be dead to you. Oh, Rebecca! Yes! Might. I haven't had the chance to try it anywhere so far. Today to be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding.
Bonifay? Bonifay? It's Banoffee. Hit him with the book. Hit him with the book.
I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
What's going on here?
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise. I want to go home. I miss my mom.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one. The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Oh, that's it. No hesitation. In a few paces, he's within my reach. And without warming, I'm stabbing the fat area of the bullet edge of the skull. Yes! Oh, that's absolutely perfect. I read to this probably an explanation of what he's saying, but I'm just trying. Beautiful. There's a try of pain forward by him, instantly crouching down, hands nursing the sore spot. Almost immediately, if this were a different situation and the safety of St. Duretti's student isn't at stake, I'd probably feel sorry for him. I mean, has anyone seen how fit this boot is?
Get behind me, Kylie.
Miss Pink!
It's amazing how fast her expression changes from the pouty one earlier to something that have utter delight upon seeing me. But there's no time for any pleasantries, not even the tricked ones, because soon the man straightens and I'm rendering my favourite newfound weapon for another hit. As if this time he's ready before I can land another one, his hand shoots up to tap my wrist in a firm hold. And the other on his face.
Bloody hell, woman! What's your problem?
To say he's pissed would be an understatement. Had I been the week's willed short, I probably would tower under his sharp gaze. But that simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can stare at me and do as he pleases here just because I'm a woman or whatever his reasons may be, he's got another thing coming for him. Yes! Yes, do! So instead I return it to him with the same intensity, with the same venom.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
Oh, you think that scares me, Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
His grip in my hand and he tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with anger and sadness, but the demon in his eyes says it all. He's getting a tit out of this. Rilling people up, getting on their nerves and filling their personal space. He knows exactly what and which buttons to push. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this asshole. If he thinks that another different to this golden peas, he might just as well kiss his side behind. Oh. Oh. Yes.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
Oh, he shattered that, yes. A fair warning. Fairer than any I can offer for people of his kind, and I'm already being considerate. How this asshole doesn't even deserve a warning. Oh, I love this. If he doesn't listen, well, he's as much responsible for what will happen next as anyone.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm. Why don't you?
5.
A setting of science. And without any preamble, my head moves in one fluid motion and gives a swift, powerful, well-placed tip to his nether region. Needless to say, the fate is instantaneously. He yelps, abruptly drops his hold on me and kneels over, holding in pain. I can see the tears forming the corners of his eyes too, though the mere sight of it prompts an ounce of remorse for me. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty prick with an needle too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him ever procreating remains to be known, but a part of me is already praying he doesn't ever breed after this. Too late. Should have done it earlier. We have no need more of him in this world. Oh my god.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass.
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Yes, your face is suspicious all the time.
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion?
True.
You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife!
That much that Jesus appears to have a silver of truth to it. He even makes a show of branching his left hand to my face with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all that I've earned him is an unimpressed year from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whoever, whatever poor woman married this sod. I don't understand why he has to bring her up, either, as if the mention of her yearning would magically present a solution to his problems. She must truly be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my teal?
Oh, it's an until? Whatever word still... Wait. You have to say here dies on my tongue. Same thing goes for the sleeve. Besides, as Tally joining us with the same curious stare she often brings with her. I know that all too well. Wait. Tio, what's... P.S. child through and through. He doesn't say anything further. His days simply moves between us, eyeing us both carefully, she expecting an answer. From my experience, when it gets like this with children her age, it's a sure sign they won't leave you until you've given them an answer they're satisfied with. Yeah, I won't do it either. It is the solving to shouting mats for heaven's sakes. And did you say Tio? Something falls straight to the pit of my stomach at that. But my tone is gentle when I finally dress her, void of apprehension at what might have been the first hints of embarrassment. I pointedly ignored the Yetta. It can be very well be just Hun speaking. Hun just speaking what?
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oaf?
Yeah, he's Teal Luke.
Right in a moment, my brain stops. Every line of thought, every argument I still have against the man besides me disappears in a haze. Amidst all of it, one memory gets triggered from a few days ago.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall.
Until. So the Sanchez kids are related to you. Okay, I was joking about him being a vampire and the kids being demonic. With the Sancho's kid involved in that video camera, I mean, like, perhaps there's a whole family of undead critters and monsters. Yep, I'm doing that theory. I don't tell what's going on here, I just feel that we beat his ass.
Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same. Don't you know who he is?
I sure as hell don't, Darian. Because if I do, I wouldn't have yet everything I said earlier come out of my mouth. But I'm proud of you, Rebecca. I'm proud of you.
He's my Teal Luke. Gazillionaire extraordinaire, am I? No, the fairy godfather.
Oh,
Your godfather. Okay.
He's your godfather. That's nice.
The one and only. Did I get that right, Teal?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Whatever it is at the end at the bottom of my stomach prior is done straight up to my face and stayed there. The heat from his face spread to my cheeks, coloring my face in almost the same shade as my hair. If only the earth would swallow me here, whole here and now. His eyes were on me, I can feel them jeering and mocking, and trying to bring myself to eat at him. What's in there? Amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having the time of his life right now. But I know I can hear the sneer in his tone alone when he talks. He was that smuggling on him, which I may or may not want to punch off his face at present just for the hell of it. But damage control. Apologize to you or apologize to Tayi? Oh, interesting. I guess this would sort of affect Hannah's relationship with us. But I did enjoy titting his ass. Apologize to Tayi. Of course, an apology is the most appropriate thing to say. Oh, it's Don Yewa. But no matter how much I will myself do it, my own body refuses to budge, my own mouth refuses to open, my head rejects the very idea of looking at him. No apologies for an asshole. Not a son with an ego too big for his head. Yet his pride suffer. I am not daring to eat my words for the sake of stroking his damn ego. Yes, reason for him to joke. Yeah, that sounds alright. He would joke. However, I owe an explanation.
Don't worry, Kylie. I'm not fighting with your Tio. This is just a discussion. A very serious discussion between a very mature adult and one that's not.
Really? But I've never seen Tio angry before.
It's because he's losing the argument. But don't ever follow his example, Kylie. You should always learn to be patient, even if things aren't going your way, okay?
Never what we did was patient.
Oh, sure, a discussion. And it involves hitting random strangers you meet at a cafe with a book. A hard-bound book. Mind you, the little me hasn't recovered yet. If my future generation never survives from this, we are going to have more than words, woman!
I don't like Tayi to hear his tirade and cover both her ears with my hands. As one as she is to the man, there are words you shouldn't be saying in front of a child. How can he not know about that? More importantly, how on earth did someone like him become a godfather who allowed it? Maybe I should talk to Miss Suarez about it, warn her how he's not a good influence for her children.
Language! How can you use such crude words in front of her? Your goddaughter can hear you, for heaven's sake.
Oh, and you didn't. If I remember everything correctly, you called me a rotten beau.
So you're going to repeat it in front of her, just to make a point? What, are you 5? Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
Even as a bearer, I can say that from certainty.
Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
See what I mean?
Are you fighting again?
Oh, no. Like I said, we were just having a discussion. We're actually done now. But you need to promise Miss Pink you will never grow up like this guy. Good kids don't do what he's doing.
But I like Tio.
And I'm quite sure Tio likes you too. But liking people is different. Just because you like him doesn't mean you have to be like him. There are better role models for you aside from him.
Like you?
Not exactly what I'm trying to get at, but if that's what you want, I don't see why not.
Okay, I want to be like Miss Pink someday. I want to be a teacher, and I promise I won't be like Tio, even if he's a gazillionaire.
Wow, turning my own goddaughter against me. How mature of you, Miss Pink.
His tone makes me pause. For the first time since this talk started, I looked at him. Briefly, something flashed by his eyes, something close to what might be expectations falling. Dismay? I can't be sure. It passes almost as soon as it appears. What's that about? Does he actually like having Tayi around? Doesn't seem to be from the get-go, but it has a fond smile on him. Is anything to judge by, but then maybe.
Don't worry, Tio. If you buy me bread pudding tonight, I'll like you again.
Aw, if that's all it takes, consider it done, sweetheart. We might have to find another place to buy it from, though. Somewhere safe, where a random crazy woman isn't going to attack us out of the blue. Let's go.
Okay. Bye, Miss Pink. I still like you, just not more than Tio anymore. See you.
Tayi's already pouring him to the cafe at it before I can protest on it. Although he has not yet anything to object on further, I may view that man, Ute, as someone hateful, maybe to the point of seeing him as an eyesore, but I don't think that will have any bearing on what the child thinks of him. I probably would have annoyed my parents. Ah, who does? When you think about it, if she admires him so much like that, not my parents, better parents, much that, then maybe there's still something to dream aboard him. A part of him only Ty sees. He still has the doll to wink at me before they both disappear behind the door, so maybe not. However, there's no moment to ponder about it. Sensei of the Day at the Tower waves me over and hands me a paper bag as soon as I've paid. He offers me another smile before I... Oh yeah, this guy just watched this all happen as she made something. It's just like... This must have been a fascinating encounter for him. Normally I return it simply for the sake of returning it, nor don't at all, but they have to happen more than commonly. For the first time, I do so free. At that time, the scene we've tours, seeing a friendly gesture being extended to me a bit from a personal vein, on the personal level, it feels like a reassurance, despite bearing no promise of better days. I take what you're writing dead of it with me as I step out into the night. This may have been my favourite episode yet. A childish night sky greets me when I walk out the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stairs and spreads out before me. Isabel once told me that the best place to view is some place outside the city, away from the noise and the obtrusites. She's been seen it once in her mum's hometown, another time in the university she used to attend. Then she asked if it's possible to try it out here sometime. I agreed with her at the time, if only because she appeared excited as the mere prospect of it. We made his little plans on Saturday in Ashton. We never got around it before, now we may lost that chance altogether. Even so, I find myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. The other things, you know, stuff you learn to appreciate when you're young. Because at certain times you get to meet people who are unfortunately born with innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere assistance they own. For example, the very driver of the car, fast approaching my direction, he only just noticed me, but the fleeting moment we pass each other by gives me a brief glance of the people he's with. Oh! Ty, there's the word. Ty is sitting on the back seat with a serving of bread pudding in her hands, and besides him, it must be his wife? Oh, that was not his wife. Oh, that was not his wife. He turns and disappears at the nearest corner. But throughout the night, the customary glimpses of all things that bother me has left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. Maybe that's why the dose hasn't been around Rebecca as much, because it's been with the other people. Maybe the dose is always there for everyone at the same time. Just a thought. And more than that is a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't ever trespass with that douche then. Well... I'd say. I'm going to probably end it short there. Mainly because... How did you beat perfection with that scene? I have even more respect for Rebecca than I did ever possible. And I'm sure when it's Ute's story, I'm going to feel bad and sad about his upbringing. But at the same time, he's still a bit of an asshole. And I love that Rebecca did that. So we shall see how I feel when I get to Ute's story. But overall, I had way too much fun. And I hope you did too. And I can't wait to see what happens next to Rebecca and if the dose is going to make an appearance or not. We shall see. We shall soon see. I hope you have a good one. And farewell for now. Goodbye.